I want to share with you this worksheet here that was given. And so you see that there's no vocabulary terms. There's a lot of pictures, a lot of images going on. And the goal of this worksheet was to label the different parts of the water cycle. So if we were to universally design this, what I might do is I might actually take this idea of universally designing something and use a tool called Classkick. Now, if you're not familiar with Classkick, it's a great tool that you can use, and you can use this to redesign different types of assignments. So what I could do is I could go right up here and I could create this from a file, and I'm going to take this water cycle example, and I'm going to say that I only want this section of it. I don't want the name section, I just want this section of it. I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to go ahead and finish. So what will happen now is you can see right here, it puts the water cycle items right here. Now what I may also want to do is I may also want to add instructions. So I might say match the term with the appropriate position of the water cycle, or something to that effect, right? So I'm going to just stretch this out. Now, one barrier that I could possibly see is that you may want to actually read some of the terms for your students, because you may have students that need that accommodation. So I could go right here and I could use the audio feature. Match the term with the appropriate position on the water cycle. So there we go, we can put that right there. Now another thing I could do is I could add terms that students could drag and drop into the different positions. Are we grading their spelling, or are we trying to figure out if they know the term? So with that in mind, I created this. These were the different parts of the water cycle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually download this. All this is just a Google drawing, and I'm just saving it as a picture. And I'm going to go in here, right here, to add a manipulative, and I'm going to select the file, and I'm going to then take, we'll say precipitation is one. I'm going to add another. Evaporation is another. Condensation is another. And then last but not least, we have runoff. So now, instead of grading students on whether they can write the different words, especially like with your EL students, maybe some of your students with IEPs, they may struggle with spelling. We're just testing their knowledge at this point. Perhaps later on we want them to write those out, and perhaps later on we're going to grade that, but at this point we just sort of want to see what students know. So I might just put these different objects down here. Now what students can do is they can simply drag them into the position that they're supposed to be in. You can add other scaffolds and support. So I actually did this a while ago, and I added some other scaffolds and supports in place. So one thing that I thought about is, what do students already know about the water cycle? What do they want to know about the water cycle? And I added a video, which you can very easily add through Classkick on here. Here's, once again, I have my instructions, so you can listen to the instructions right there. I have a quiz, and this is a multiple choice quiz where I have a reading of the answers and the actual questions right up here. And then I have another part where they're going to talk about clouds and the water cycle. And so then there's an exit ticket. So those are all things that you could do to make this a little bit more accessible for students of all abilities.